Drama heating up between Donald Trump and Ted Cruz ahead of the Wisconsin presidential primary next week.
Wisconsin is very important. It's becoming more and more important. We can get there. We have a movement going on. It's an incredible movement. It's a movement like they haven't seen in this country. I have many friends in Wisconsin. I fully understand Wisconsin. I wouldn't say that your governor loves me because, no, I knocked him out.
According to the latest poll out just moments ago today, Senator Cruz now up by nearly 10 points in Wisconsin. Charlie Sykes is a radio talk show host on 620 WTMJ, Midday with Charlie Sykes, and a Senator Ted Cruz supporter. Scott Brown, former Massachusetts Senator, Fox News contributor, and a Donald Trump supporter. Gentlemen, great to have you both on The Real Story. Charlie, you've been making news over the last few days. You had Governor Scott Walker on your show, and he gave his endorsement for Ted Cruz. What is the lay of the land in Wisconsin with regard to conservative radio right now with those two candidates?
Well, conservative radio in Wisconsin is very different than the national conservative talk shows. You know, there are no fanboys in Wisconsin. And almost all of the conservative talk show hosts in Wisconsin have been very, very critical of Donald Trump. And I think you're going to see this playing out in this campaign. He has not had the people who are rationalizing and defending and, you know, overlooking some of his foibles. And I think that what you're seeing in Wisconsin in this poll is the fact that conservatives are quite engaged in this election. They are starting to coalesce around Ted Cruz, and I think Donald Trump is going to lose badly next Tuesday.
Well, that's interesting analysis. So, Senator Brown, what should Donald Trump do? Because this new poll that just came out an hour ago, he's down by 10.
Well, first of all, I'm surprised it's not by more. Listen, as you know, Gretchen, I've run almost 20 races, lost 2. And I have never in my life seen the amount of vitriol and attacks by a front runner, not only by our own party, but members of the Republican Party within the different factions, the conservatives, the Tea Party, you know, et cetera, the establishment. It's fascinating to me and, quite frankly, quite disturbing. So we'll see what happens in Wisconsin. He knows it's important. He's making every effort, obviously, to do well there. But, you know, and I have a lot of respect, Charlie, for you, as you know, and don't necessarily agree that everybody in the conservative movement is going to vote for Ted Cruz.
Okay.
They may hold their nose and vote for him, but it's not over till it's over.
Okay. There's been some interesting articles written about Wisconsin. Some people are calling it the new New Hampshire because it could really change the race. And other people are saying that there's this cheesehead revolution going on in the state because you have young people on the Republican side, Walker and Paul Ryan, et cetera, from Wisconsin, who are really making up sort of the new Republican Party. Charlie, what do you think about that?
Well, I think it's exactly right. And I think that, by the way, that Donald Trump has made a huge tactical error. And Senator Brown, you ought to have an intervention in this. The fact that Donald Trump is attacking Scott Walker in his own backyard. In Wisconsin, look, we have been tested by fire. You have voters in southeastern Wisconsin who've crawled through glass and gone through fire to support Scott Walker. They know that he's a tough, courageous conservative reformer. These are Paul Ryan's voters. So for Donald Trump to parachute in and to attack Scott Walker, attack Paul Ryan, is frankly weapons-grade stupid. And I think
but the interesting point, Charlie,
poll took place before that.
Yeah, but the interesting thing, Senator Brown, is that Walker has an approval rating of 84% among Republicans, but when you look at independents, it goes down from there, and Wisconsin is an open primary. So is that good news for Donald Trump?
Of course it is, because while obviously Ted may get the conservatives, as Charlie references, there are disenfranchised Republicans, Democrats, those Reagan Democrats, people who have never voted before, those independents who are looking basically for somebody who's going to listen to them and address their concerns. And listen, I have a lot of respect for Scott Walker. He's been to my house. I was looking to support him in the beginning. That being said, the fact that Donald beat him pretty badly and forced him out, obviously there's a little animosity. And don't forget, he gets 17 people down to 3. Of course, none of these people are going to be warm and fuzzy towards Donald Trump. It's kind of expected. My hope, Gretchen and Charlie, is that at the end of it, there's going to be a long and thoughtful healing process, and we're going to have to make a choice. Is it going to be Hillary or Bernie or Donald Trump if he's the nominee, or Ted Cruz? That's it. Pretty simple.
That may happen in July at the convention. Charlie, Senator Brown, thanks much.